Peace, 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 peace. What's this filter thing? Do I want to filter? Yeah, bubbles. How about some gold dust? I don't really like the little turn up in. That ain't how the goddess likes her hat. But she definitely has to tilt to the side. Gotta tilt to the side. Alright. I'm gonna do the bubbly thing for a little bit. Let's not. Okay. So the title to this talk is called Sheer Determination, what that looks like in real time. Voila. Grand Risings. This is for moisturization purposes only, not color, not to enhance anything. That's not it. Not at all. It's purely for moisturizing purposes. Just a moment, please. Okay, so back to our topic, which is sheer determination, what that looks like in real time. Well, you're looking at it. Because let me explain. You're determined to do something, and this is how you know what you're attempting to do is actually worth it. As soon as you begin to physically, that's not when it's a thought. As long as it's a thought, all possibilities are available to you. But begin to bring that thought into the material realm. As you're doing that, there's something called opposition. Opposition gets alerted. Hey, Tonya 23 is trying to do something positive out here. She's trying to do something to progress her life out here. And it may even end up in a couple of coins that Tonya 23 could actually use. So, let us begin to try and thwart her every move. Like I said, it's only when you begin to materialize your goal, that's when the obstacle says, we got to get to work to try to stop it. And so, it literally wakes up every day with the intent on stopping you in this particular thing that you're trying to do. And it's always when you're trying to level your life up, bring your intellect to another level. It's just an overall benefit for you, okay? This is how you can tell how rigorous this opposition is going to be. Now, let's talk about opposition. Opposition is a spirit. It is a spirit with many faces. It is usually either sent or activated. Whoa, what is wrong with you, kitty cat? Oh, okay. It's time to trim his nails because he's scratching his ear and he messed around and nicked himself a little hard there. That's an indication to a cat in a cat brain. You need to go somewhere and file your nails down if your owner is not going to clip them, because that problem has to get solved. And he's actually turning around looking at me like he understands what I'm saying. And he's like, well, when you going to come with the clippers? When you stop fighting to get them nails cut? But I ain't going to play with them. I'm going to take them right to the kitty spa and let them deal with it. Which is why you can't let anything stop you. You've got to have sheer determination in real time, because you have to pay for that service. Okay? And so, let's just cut to the chase. You need money to survive in this world. Okay? And it's getting a little bit, you've got to get craftier and craftier to keep up with the happenings when it's time to obtain something. So know that as soon as you try to materialize something in the physical world, there is something that's also going to be activated called freaking obstacles. A showstopper, dream crusher, whatever you want to call it. But what you can't do is give up. Obstacle, I know this obstacle. Maybe this obstacle throws you back at a leap to where you can't combat it right now, but do come back to it when you're in a better position. This is more. Life is more than, to me, it's more than a game of chess. It is like an elaborate game of chess, but it's a lot more complicated than that. Comparing life to a game of chess, you need to add a couple of more things. You need to add in Monopoly. You need to add in Grand Theft Auto. You need to add in a lot of things, because you just can't encompass this opposition thing if your mind isn't open. Okay? Because if you examine your life closely or go through life with conscious awareness, you will see this formula play out every single time. And one thing that has proved to cause some opposition, and that is literally keeping your goals and dreams to yourself for a while until their gestational period is at a healthy mark. What do I mean by that? Say you're a woman and you get pregnant. Everyone knows that every woman is at risk of, I guess what you call like a miscarriage or something prohibiting the pregnancy from being healthy, and there's a certain stage and a certain amount of time to where this quote unquote miscarriage would have to take place. Because once you get to a certain level, you're sort of home free for a little bit. But with each stage, there is an obstacle for each stage. So at no time are you ever obstacle free. But you can navigate through what you need to do. It's just like when a cat wants to sneak up on you. And you say, damn, no one's able to sneak up on me. How I didn't feel or see it coming because it lowered its frequency. It's stealth. It's stealth, its frequency. See, frequency has a level, a radar. And if you can lower your frequency so that you're undetectable, you can cause opposition, some opposition. But you got to know what level to display yourself on, right? Always knowing that when you think nobody's looking, something and somebody is looking. If you go through life, by the way, the clock was on 11:11 when that phrase came out. No matter how much you think you're alone, there's always something or somebody watching. So you can begin to do things as if you know someone's always watching or something. Now, this something or someone doesn't have to be a religious figure. It could be an ancestor. And as a matter of fact, I would say they can see more clearly into your lives, more so than any demonic entity, let's just say, because they're actually DNA related. Now, let's face it, some of our ancestors were demons. And you don't really have to tap into them unless you need the type of spiritual guidance they offer, let's just say. So they might be a protective thing. But let's go on down the line. Let's come to that. Because there's a certain way to deal with those ancestors. But opposition, in other words, you need your spirit team to have your back all the way. And you must know that they do. Which means your spirit team has to be very carefully picked. Some of us have our spiritual team as whatever religious figure that you've decided to sell your soul to. Because that's exactly what it is. When you take an oath to a deity or whatever, it's kind of like a soul contract. You know? And I wonder what happens when you grow and mature and you decide to go into another spiritual contract. Does the old one get voided? Or do whoever's in charge of it, do they get to come out with an attitude? Perhaps you piss them off. How is that going to work? Well, experience has taught me, and I have learned by a lot of experimentation. And so when you learn by experimentation, a lot of times you learn the hard way. Because if you have someone sitting there telling you everything, they're actually making it easier for you. And some of us need to actually put in that work. Because you discover a lot about yourself while you're on the journey of sheer determination in real time. What it looks like is, it doesn't look like you never get knocked down. See, a lot of occultists kind of paint the illusion that because you're an occultist, you shouldn't run into opposition or go through life's ups and downs. Well, there's some truth to that, and there's some untruth to that. So the true occultist is in the middle, or the true person who believes they're in conscious awareness or the person that believes they're in one with their religious beliefs and faiths, they all see themselves as balanced. But are they? Does opposition, let's put it like this, are we directing the proper energy to its proper place where it should go? A lot of times when opposition is attacking us, we tend to attack others. That's not how you do that, family. That's making matters worse. That's actually giving opposition the win, so to speak. Right? Because hurt people hurt people. So whenever you're receiving all of this opposition from a being, that pretty much means they're getting their ass kicked by opposition. And not until you realize that this is a spirit trying to stop you from progression in your life, and you learn to deal with it accordingly, you probably will experience a lot of defeat, or in the physical, it will certainly look like defeat. But just as the sun rises and then it sets and rises again, it hath kept its covenant with the earth. Is the covenant with the inhabitants of earth? Or is it to the earth? The covenant. I shall rise. Or take it as a blessing and a lesson when you witness the Son of Man rise, and then you witness the Son of Man set. You witness this. And because you witness this every day, this is sheer determination in real time, right? We going somewhere with this. Work with me, Ra. Guide your child, because I feel it. I feel it, your message, but I have to display it in real time. So, you have this as an example of sheer determination. So if thou find thyself in a state of depression or defeat, your covenant of the Son of Mankind rising and setting, rising and setting and 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 rising and setting, rising and setting, rising and setting. This has been going on since the very beginning of Mother Earth and all the other planets in the solar system. The sun is constantly keeping its promise. Should I, the very child of the Son of Mankind, shall I fail to rise and set? Well, I can confidently say that in this life, you shall rise and you shall set. But know when you set, you shall rise. And know when you rise, you shall set. And know when you set, you shall rise. The covenants. What you're going to have to do when the book is no longer available. This is why you were told, them that have eyes, let them see. Those that have ears, let them listen. See and listen to what? What thus the Son of Mankind shows you daily. Now, just for a moment, sidebar. How do you feel when you make a promise and you keep it? No matter what. No matter what. No matter how mad things and people and situations can make you. No matter how much abuse you see taking place. No matter how much debauchery you see taking place. No matter how much sin, intentional sin at that, planned and intentional sin at that is taking place. Yet, the Son of Man continues to rise and set upon it all. It doesn't say to itself, I shall not rise today for spite. How many of us spiteful people out there do your biddings depending on how you feel that day? That, my friends, is not sheer determination. That's what it is not. You don't get to wake up and say what you're not doing today. When you know, when you know it needs to be done. You, at that point, if you wake up and you say, spitefully now, me not doing something, or I will do something today because I feel like it. So, answer this. Does how you feel really matter a damn to what you're supposed to be doing? Is that how we're judging what we're going to do from day to day? Covenant. We're talking about what sheer determination looks like in real time. Somehow or another, the Spirit gave me the analogy of the sun rising and setting faithfully for as long as anyone can count. Because we all know if the son of mankind were to deviate from its promise, mankind will surely suffer an unrecognizable price. By the time you're done paying, no one will even recognize what you look like anymore. Because when you don't live by sheer determination, well, anything can happen then. Anything can happen then. Anything can happen then. But is there something, just one thing, that you've promised that you have not gone back on yet? So you want to compare yourself to the Son of Man? So you want to stand in front of it. You want, or you are worthy of the Son of Man image. To be behind your head. But can you rise and set consistently forevermore? Have you made this promise to others, or have you made this promise to yourself? For example, when Jesus was hoisted up on this tree that was a cross, he too, if I remember correctly, he too tried to get out of his covenant. I think he said something like, Father, if you could take this cup from me, boy, I would surely appreciate it. Something to that effect. The most important part is he asked the Son of Man, in which he recognized as Father, could he possibly save him from this one? So, the fact that he asked to be removed from this cup means that he should have never been near the cup in the beginning. Which means when he made his human, it's displaying its human characters. When it made its human promise, it either knew or didn't know that he wasn't going to be able to keep it. That he would have a different mentality and say, hey, this is what it feels like to give your life up for everyone, for those that you don't know. And for one moment, a little bit of sanity creeped in there. And he said, am I out of my freaking mind? I'm trying to give my life for these jokers. And so he said, he knew what promises were, and he knows how heavy covenants were. But he took it upon himself to just try to get out of it. He made an effort. He put energy into trying to get out of his responsibilities that he said he was going to do. Does that remind you of anything? There's a certain promise on earth that earth beings make to one another. And sometimes they don't exactly work out forever as if they promise in the covenant. God is to understand, or when Jesus came, he told them, trying to think of the scripture, but in other words, he said, things can change. Something to that effect. Things can change. It'll come to me because it is very spirit-filled. It's like, I know what you said, but is that how you feel? There's always a scripture to match a lot of things. Mostly everything you can think of. They pretty much got that part covered. But, yeah. Stop making promises you ain't sure if you can keep. Just think about the sun. We were on the part where I said, who deems themselves worthy to stand in front of the image of the sun? Is it a reminder? Because that works. Unless you, because see, when we have the image of the character Jesus, he's always in front of the sun somehow. It's always behind him, right? As if he says he's not it. He's not the sun. I'm talking about the portal body sun. He's not that. And he also told you that he is, though. He referred to himself as the Son of Man. And he stood in front of the sun. So most people took him as to say that he was the Son of Man. How could that be? Maybe he meant the Son of Human. In other words, he would be saying that he is your child. And children are to be taught. Children are to be guided or restrained, chastised, and in order. Son of Man, kind. Because if you think about it, God has many sons. All of you men out there are sons of God. But all of you out there are also sons of man, because your father was involved in your materializing here. But make no mistake about it, you're not on the level of the sun. Of course. You cannot take the credit. You cannot be it. You can't control it, but you can communicate with it. As a matter of fact, they put the face in front of the sun to distract you. So you communicate with that instead of the sun in its face in real time. You diss it pretty much. And so, what sheer determination looks like in real time, let's see, what words can I put this in? Sheer determination, what it looks like in real time. I'm right here. I realize where my blessings come from. I know who's in charge. And I reverence it as such ever since I removed the face or the figure that was standing in front of the sun. The light could fully shine on me. There was a shadow. There was a shadow before. It was a shadow. And the sun was trying to shine on me. But I kept on cloaking myself in this shadow. And then one day, I got on my knees and I said, Jesus, if you're not the total way, I'm going to need to know what is. And you promised that you would deal with me in truth. It was between me and him, whatever it is, an entity, a this, a that, whatever it is. I respect it as an entity. Because even this pair of glasses, if I say, this is God, I affirm it. And then I get the rest of the world to affirm it with me. These pair of glasses become energetically charged with the energy. Whoops. With the energy of what we made it to be. Right? God said, oh, hell no. Slap out my hand. The Most High. You know what I'm saying? And so, yes, sheer determination, what it looks like in real time, is knowing that it's you. Knowing that if you don't make a move, the universe is not going to move with you. But it will move. You will feel left behind. That's what it looks like in real time. So, one good thing that I will leave with you that I have learned throughout my metaphysical journey of all of 14 years now. Oh, I learned so much, and I intend to share a lot of it as much as I can. One of the most important lessons I've learned is I am. And you can put anything behind that. I am the cat's meow. I am perfectly and wonderfully made in the image of the Most High. I am perfectly and wonderfully made in the image of the Most High Goddess, because I am a female. I am the child of, name your parents. Especially if you held them in high esteem. Hold them in high esteem. I am. That's one of the most important things I learned in this journey. I've learned so very much. But at the end of the day, all of it's for naught. If I did not know that I am. Because when you don't know that, you attribute everything to forces and circumstances outside of yourself. And you never really get to know your own true power like that. Every good thing that happens to us, some great power outside of us allowed it to happen. I could tell you some mind-blowing manifestation stories that I learned, that I witnessed on the way to let me know that I am. When I call myself a goddess, I am. I am, and we are. I am, and we are. What we think we are. This is the reality. We are, well, just then and there, the goddess dropped in my mind. What about the people that think there's something that they're actually not? That happens. Like, there are some low-down individuals that do not recognize themselves as low-down individuals. That's another live on how that happens. Something called an ego out of control. A rogue ego. Should you care how others take you? Just be yourself. A message displayed in any other energy but natural and real energy is whack. So like, even if this video doesn't go viral and this and that and this and that, and I get everybody to like it and even if it sees human success, the one that looks at the video, that learns something that they can apply to their life, Tonya 23 wins. Tonya 23 wins. Even if it takes 1 or 2 years, Tonya 23 wins. And therefore, you have achieved success. Don't listen to the world, because even the Son of Man was confused about his existence, to the point where he asked, "Get me about this situation if you can." And he probably was in no rush to come back here. But this is one thing he did. All those doubters, in which in modern times we call them haters, he did come back just to prove them wrong. He didn't come back for the world to see him, or for the 5,000 he fed down by the beach with the fish and the bread, for them to see him, because word travels quickly when someone dies. Many of them stood there and watched his very demise. Do you think he was to forget about that? Or his meek and mildness, he would just let that slide? Not even Jesus, not even Yeshua, not even he did that. He came back so they could see him. Or so they could tell somebody else, tell Thomas you seen me. Make sure. I want to make myself known to that one particularly that had no faith in me. He came back so he could show them. So we have this saying is that when us African Americans get on our feet and we come out the hood and whatnot, when we make it, we go back to the hood to floss on our people. Well, how did they and where did they learn that from? The guy you call a savior, Yeshua, Yesus, and whatever his name is, Yeezy with a J. He did that to y'all. He said, yeah, I told you this was how it went. Now you see me. You have been made out to look like a fool for your disbelief and your unbelief. Not only that, you're a public fool in the eyes of all the other disciples now. So any clout that you thought you had, you have lost now. If you can't help nobody and you don't have no goals of your own, if you can't help nobody with theirs, what you should do is stop trying to tear it down, because you's a motherfucking hater, yo. And there's a place where all haters got to be, and they must go. You see? I'm not going to put no name on where that is. They'll find out in due time. And even the ones who think they have perfected sorcery and magic and all sorts of spiritual workings, let me leave this with you, most. Scratch that. Because I was going to say most powerful selves you are. But I'll say this. This is a message from the Most High Goddess. Most of you don't even know her name. But the message is, what you set out to trap the good, the innocent, and the unprotected, shall be boomeranged and directed right back to you 1,111-fold. And we haven't put that to a candle, because the candle in the flame burns forever. The eternal flame burns forever. Here, none of you can extinguish that fire. Touch not thine anointed, some were told. But no, they have this all figured out. The deities and the elements bow down to their very wish, huh? Is that how that goes, with no consequences? Well, you've been living in an illusion, a large one at that. The little saying, what goes around comes around, is very true. Us achieved fake perfection or disguised perfection in the year of 2024, which is known as the year of 8. I know I happen to have a life path of 8, and I happen to be on an 8th level. So I have triple 8s rolling. What goes around comes around. So this year, don't set yourself back. Only do things that you want to come back around lovely for yourself. Don't ruin it for yourself, thinking that you could cause anyone else harm for money or for the request of someone else. If it's not for the demise of the wicked, that will be the only time things will be allowed to cross into the spiritual realms. Because the wicked dealings, they're coming back around to whoever has sent them out come this year, 2024. Uncle Jasonet, Ashe, and Ma Keru. No matter the sacrifices that are being made out there towards one's demise, if they do not deserve it, the boomerang effect is going to come into place. Those who are receiving spells, hexes, and ceremonies and all with the intent of the demise of the righteous, well, there's a price that's going to have to be paid. So all of us out there who are wielding and willing things into the lives of those who are unexpected and who have not earned it, and you could even be hurting those that have helped you on your way. In the year of 2024, all things done with ill and fake intent that are cast upon the earth under the auspice and intent to hurt or bring down those who don't deserve it in this year of 2024. Be kind to them who you hate. Because we are communing more with the universe, knowing and trusting that everything that needs to happen will happen. So, I shed tears now, and I show great pity and compassion for those who shall learn this lesson the hard way. Doesn't matter your level of babalawness or your level of debauchery creation or your level of magical knowledge, so to speak. There is one. There is a one. There is one. In whom is undefeated in that area. There is one. And she, and she, and she is back. Oh boy. Whoo! Is she back? The world shall know her name because there's 10,000 names. That is her. And she, oh, she loves her children. And the sun of the solar system loves her. She is the sun's daughter. Daughter of Ra, the sun, God of the earth. He loves his daughter so very much. She's his oldest and firstborn daughter. He would do anything for her. And so, all of her wishes are granted. So, her children, it matters not their request, because a mother takes it upon herself to protect her children. And so she knows very well what her children stand in need of. And protection is number one. And so in this year of 7 and in the year of 8, and definitely going into the year of 9, 7, 8, 9, heads are gonna roll from the goddess who has come to clean up her father's land by any means necessary. And that begins with those who have created the lies to the people about what and who is God down here, and what and who is the goddess of this world. It is time for every man, woman, child, because the animals know, to learn. We shall all learn. Yeah. That those names that you're using have no power. None. It's only an illusion, a temporary one at that. But Be not dismayed, and let your heart not be troubled. For them upon the earth, whose thoughts are pure of heart, for the upliftment of consciousness in this space, we will be redeemed soon, and very soon. We are going to see the Queen, the Goddess, your very maker, the one who loved your very mother, the one who created your father, the one who sustained their life through thick and thin, miraculously, and in disguise. The goddess is rejected by her own. Her own never really believed in her. Because if they did, they would share her shit. But if you didn't do that, that means there's some fake love going on somewhere. Because you utter with your lips, but with your hands you do no work for the goddess. That is how she knows, because her sheep, they hear her voice. And when they hear her voice, they respond respectively. And so when that does not take place, the goddess very well knows, even those that respond who really don't want to respond, there is an ulterior motive. She even recognized those not hiding nothing from her. Yet, she accepts the help with loving adoration. She really believes it's genuine until she finds out it's not. Lots of disappointment then. Her children? Oh, she teaches and chastises her children. But with unconditional love, she doesn't shun them forever. As a matter of fact, even when they cut her head off, she simply put it back and continued to love them as her very own. Why? Because she understands she is the goddess. She made you. She knows all of her children on a personal level. She knows those of you that are doing any and everything for money. Some of you are even given in exchange. It looks like a fair exchange for the money, like you got your money's worth. But their very intent for even earning your money wasn't exactly honest. They could even publicly humiliate you. And the goddess would continue to support them. You know why? Because if she likes what you're putting out, The goddess gets what she wants. But make no mistake about it, that just makes things worse for you. To continue to shun the loving just because you're mean and nasty and you're a hater. How long is that going to be allowed to roam the earth? I'm here to tell you, not very long. The ending of this year is fast approaching. Because when this year is over, boy, is it going to be over for some out there. Just because of how you treated the goddess, yo. Could you believe your entire fate could depend on how you treated the goddess? Something in the Bible, it was a scripture that said, be careful how you entertain strangers unaware, because that very stranger could be the child of the Most High God. You don't want to be found caught alive disrespecting her. Well, there's one particular company out there that I supported that will have to be dealt with spiritually. And it's called We Juice Company. I ordered $85 worth of their juices, plus tax and shipping. And this happened this summer, like July or August. And I do have the receipts in my email. So if anybody wants to see some proof, you just request it. I don't throw my information out there. I said what I said. Just know I can prove it. I never received my order till today. I keep on inquiring, ignoring me as if I don't exist. Still promoting the juices, despite the fact that you have robbed someone of their tithes and offerings. I'm sorry to say, We Juice Company, you're going to have to rectify that to save your company. You're going to receive all pushback until you rectify that one order. Because no matter how much business you continue to do that gives the illusion that you're progressing, the fall is quite hard. Very hard-earned money. Very hard. Every penny so very hardly earned. I thought it not robbery to purchase something from your company. And I have my own company, so I could have purchased something from myself. But I decided to support this brother's company because brothers have it bad and they need all the support that they can get. But you must do fair business with everyone, because that one person that you overlook as if they don't matter is the very one the goddess shall defend. So, Mr. Weed Juice Company, until you rectify that, The goddess is watching you. And she's already got an arrow on the board in which you created for yourself. So you have an opportunity. Rectify your matter or lose it all. Or let me hush. However the goddess decides to deal with you is completely up to her. I am just going to continue to sit on my throne, yielding the wand of justice and honor and all that is true and righteous. The goddess has never ever let me down yet, and she keeps her covenants just like her father. She rises and she sets with utter consistency. And so on that note, I will say peace. Uncle Jocelyn, Shem Hotep, and Hotep. I wish you great good health to all. I even wish it to those who don't deserve it. We let the goddess judge and handle who does not. And so all of our magic is for protection and for the betterment of humanity on a whole. Because anything connected to the goddess has love and compassion in all of her bosom. Yeah. But the goddess's bosom, one spews out the life milk that you need to survive, and the other that poison. So, respect the goddess, for she respects you until she doesn't anymore. Peace, love, and prosperity again to all. And this is the end of this channel from Tonya 23. Ashe, Ashe.